All right, here we are for the first draft here from Grand Prix Philadelphia. I'm Marshall Sutcliffe, and I am sitting next to Magic the Gathering Pro Tour Hall of Famer Ben Stark, and we are going to be looking over Reid Duke's shoulder. Welcome to the booth, Ben.
Thanks, Marshall.
And we're going to be looking at Reid Duke draft for the first draft of, well, what's hopefully three, at least potentially three for Reid, at least two. He's going to get two drafts added today.
Seems pretty likely for him. He's 9-0, second-ranked player in the world.
That's right, second-ranked player in the world coming in, and he's sitting at 9-0 there. If you've never done a timed draft here, basically what they're doing is breaking down the cards inside just to verify everything. Everything's double-checked in day two of a GP. There's a lot of money on the line, a lot of important pro points at stake here, and no detail is left unchecked by our judge staff here at the GP. It does mean a couple of extra steps. You can even see that the packs are pre-opened and already ready to go for the players.
Yeah, and you always got to count each pack.
Now let's talk a little bit about this format. The first pack is going to be Born of the Gods. The second two are both going to be Theros. In Born of the Gods, you know, there's a couple. There's some really good red cards, two premium removal spells in Fall of the Hammer and Bolt of Keranos. There's some pretty good white cards as well. You know, Chrome Skyguard jumps out. Tend to fall off a little bit in Theros, and I've noticed when I've been drafting that a lot of people will fight. Actually, Ben, we're underway here, so let's take a look at what Reid finds. He's got
Butcher's another nice red card.
It is, yeah, solid common. There's a retraction helix. Yeah.
Yeah, this is a pretty average pack, I guess.
What was his rare?
I don't think it was too notable.
I think it's well-mean wave there, right? Yeah.
So, I mean, you know, I personally consider Retraction Helix to be one of the very best commons in the set.
Okay.
It's probably what I would take out of this pack.
And blue in general, you're fine taking a blue card here?
Yeah, blue's a color I actually like to start with because it tends to be more of a support color in this format. So if you start blue, then you get to see what's coming between like black, white, or green.
Okay.
The colors that I consider more of like the base of your deck in this format.
Wow, he took Meletus Astronomer. That's an interesting pick there. Pack one, pick one Meletus Astronomer for Reid.
Yeah, you know, I didn't really see that coming. I don't think the Astronomer's that great, but I mean, it's a way to gain card advantage, and you know, I guess a lot of people really like, you know, any way to draw extra cards.
That's right, and he finds a couple of nice options here in Airy Worshippers and Nyxborn Triton.
Well, these two are both good blue cards, are both two that I like. This should be a pretty close pick between the Worshipper and the Triton.
Now, if it is close, doesn't the tiebreaker go to the Triton as he did just pick a Meletus Astronomer, pack one, pick one?
Yeah, that would make sense. I mean, if you're gonna first pick a Meletus Astronomer, I guess you have to prioritize your enchantments.
You want more enchantments and you want more ways to target that thing, so that would make sense. Now, but that depends on how close it is, because Airy Worshippers is pretty strong.
Yeah, Airy Worshippers is good. I mean, that makes sense, though, because, I mean, obviously, if you think Meletus Astronomer is a first-pick quality card, even over Retraction Helix, you must be prepared to get 8, 10, 12 enchantments where you're going to be able to consistently trigger that guy.
Yeah, you know, I don't have a ton of experience with the Astronomer. I haven't been super impressed by it.
I haven't either.
I'm surprised to see Reid take it, pack one, pick one, and I'm curious to see what he knows that I don't.
Yeah. I mean, when it's a player like Reid, obviously, you know, we have to question our thoughts on the card. But, you know, I've played with it, and, you know, I mean,
it's fine.
Yeah, it's fine. I mean, it's, you know, sometimes you hit an enchantment, sometimes you don't.
Sure.
Even if you have a decent amount. It can definitely take over a game if you can target it 2, 3, 4 times and hit an enchantment every time, but it's not that easy to do.
So let's see what Reid finds in his pack one, pick three. Wow, a pick three Skyguard. That's an interesting one. And there's also an Acroan Phalanx in this pack. Only blue card is a nullify for Reid if he wanted to try to stick to blue. It looks like he's going to branch out into a second color.
I have to imagine he's going to take Skyguard here. Skyguard is one of the premium commons. It goes well with the idea, heroic, just like the Astronomer, the idea of trying to target your guys.
Yeah, so he's got the Astronomer, he has the Skyguard, and he's got a way to target either one of them. So things looking okay in the early stages here for Reid.
Yeah, I mean, this is a good start for Reid, you know, either way. Those are 3 cards that I'm sure he's happy to play.
Is that another Astronomer?
Yeah.
This is more about the time when you want to pick one of those up, maybe. But let's see what Reid decides. I mean, he lived it in pack one, pick one. Why not take another one?
And that's another thing. It's almost like the hexproof decks, where like, yeah, you need the heroic guys, but you don't need a plethora of them because then you just end up with 3 different ones, and you can only target one of them. You know, like you really want to prioritize the good ways to target them and the good heroic guys. You know, the Wingsteed Riders and the Acroan Crusaders.
That's right.
I think you let something like Meletus Astronomer come if it comes forth, but I wouldn't be first picking it over Retraction, not over Retraction Helix, but you know.
All right, well, Reid has 2 of them now. He gets a Tromacratus here, but there's also a Crypsis, a Mortal's Ardor, even a Loyal Pegasus, and less exciting Godfavor General back there, too. It looks like Reid has pulled Tromacratus to the front. What's your take on Tromacratus?
I mean, I'm only looking at Tromacratus as a win condition for like a blue-black deck, not for like a blue-white heroic deck.
Big finisher.
Yeah, now granted, Reid doesn't have a blue-white heroic deck. He has some blue cards and he has an Acroan Crusader. So Reid still has a lot of options open.
Okay.
But should he end up playing the Acroan Crusader, I would be surprised if the Tromacratus also made his deck.
Okay. Well, he does take it here. Going for the big power level, he finds, all right, a couple of other playable white and blue cards in Deepwater Hypnotist.
Yeah, and that's
an
actually
Oresco
a nice
Sun
white
Guide.
2-drop. I like the Sun Guide a lot.
I do too.
Now, I mean,
Now, Reid still just has the 1 white card in his pile, right?
yeah, I mean, Reid seems to be viewing this draft a little differently than I would.
Yeah.
Like, to me, if I see a Crusader second and then a Sun Guide fifth, white's one of the better colors. I'm thinking I'm seeing white, you know?
Okay.
So I'm trying to put together a blue-white heroic deck in this seat.
And it looks like Reid is trying to hedge away a little bit and stay actually, I think he's trying to lean towards black. I saw him pull another black card to the front. I think he figures that white probably is overdrafted, or that maybe he's received a little bit of a false signal with that Skyguard third, and I think he's trying to hedge back in the other direction. And I think he figured, well, Deepwater Hypnotist and Oresco Sun Guide are fairly close, and so I'm just going to hedge back towards blue because he knows that he's in blue.
Right, and the giant blue rare does go much better in the blue-black control deck where you're trying to make the games go longer.
Wow. That Phalanx is there?
Oh, the Phalanx is quite strong in Boros, but since it's an exact 2-color combination, a lot of times it goes late.
You can see Reid is like, wow, all right, well, we'll take it. Could have taken a Nullify there.
Even though white is widely considered the best color, I'm not big on like forcing the best color or anything. But when I am going to look to draft it is when I get the best white common 3rd pick, you know, the Acroan Crusader, and then I get 5th pick Oresca Sun Guide. So, I mean, you know, to me in Reid's seat, I feel like I am seeing white, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm kind of surprised that he passed on the Sun Guide and shied away from the white.
He's gone back and forth a little bit here.
Well, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, you know, people are quick to call, you know, say it like someone's doing something wrong when they like waffle or keep their options open.
Yeah, and that's not what I was saying.
No.
I
know you're not. I'm just saying this for the people at home.
Sure.
Because you know, it's the kind of thing where you know, during a draft, like being aggressive and being focused is not a good thing. Like during a draft, like you want to keep your options open and read the packs and figure out what's being underdrafted, and then you want to draft that.
Yeah, like for example, you know, to go along the lines of what you're saying, as Reid finishes up his pack 1 here, you know, he's in a situation now where he could be blue-white or he could be blue-black. He's picked up a couple of black cards, a couple of white cards, and he even, you know, if he picks up something really enticing in another color, could take it and try to move in. He knows he's blue, like he's solidified himself in blue, and now he's left himself in a fairly flexible spot. I think the only concern I would have if I'm Reid is just, well, what does my deck look like, right? Like, it's hard to be either blue-white or blue-black. Like, those are quite different.
They're completely different decks,
yeah.
right? And while it's a benefit, because if Reid opens a pack where he has Phalanx Leader as the only good card, he can go blue-white. If he opens a pack that has Keepsake Gorgon as the only good card, he can go blue-black. So that's why it's a benefit to be open.
Yeah.
You don't want to pass on a good deck just to stay open.
Exactly.
And Oresca Sun Guide is such a good 2-drop for an aggressive blue-white deck. And I don't remember what he took the Traumatic. I can't pronounce that card.
Tromacratus.
Tromacratus. I don't really remember what he took it over, but I thought there were decent cards in that pack, if I remember correctly. So I feel like he's kind of not solidify himself in a blue-white, in a very good, probably the strongest archetype in the format now, blue-white heroic deck that I feel like he just was seeing. You know what I mean?
It was there, yeah. And the black cards he picked up aren't great.
No.
You know, he's got a Weight of the Underworld and an Eye Gouge and an Explorer.
Right, when you don't see any asphyxiates.
Right.
And he only saw 1 Servant, which I don't even think he picked up.
And he didn't take it, yeah.
So, I mean, I'm not really sure why he's considering black so much. Maybe just personal preference.
Yeah, I mean, it could be also, you know, he took Tromacratus. It's like,
yeah, that's
once you take that, it just sort of leans you hard in a different direction.
No, I agree. It's a blue card, but it's almost like a blue-black-gold card here.
Exactly.
Because in your blue-white heroic deck with all 2-drops, you don't want that 7-drop to be stuck in your hand. But in your blue-black deck where you're going to play things like Divination and Read the Bones, and you're going to be trying to set up, you know, control and make the game go long, then it's an excellent card.
That's right. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how this goes. I mean, there's a lot of things that could change the direction of his draft here. I mean, my assumption, if I'm in Reid's seat here, is that I'm leaning white. Like, at this point, I looked at my pile, and I'm just like, my black cards are just very forgettable. I have really nothing pulling me in that direction. except for Tromacratus. And I don't really think Tromacratus is like a big pull, right?
No.
It's not a, it's not a card that you're just like, well, I got this, now I must play it. It's not an Elspeth. Or
No.
anything like that.
Tromacratus is an okay finisher.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a good finisher, but
Yeah.
a finisher only has so much value.
That's right. All right, so let's see what Reid picks up here. Maybe you can get a look at the rest of the table. There's Joe Demestrio to his left. You see Christian Calcano, David Ochoa.
It's a nice pod one.
It is. Yeah, this is a tough draft pod for sure. David Ochoa is awake. I saw him with his big jug of coffee, just patiently waiting for the draft judge to announce. This is on, right? It's on.
There's nothing Ochoa is not, if not patient.
It's true. All right, here's Reid Duke's pack 2 pick 1. Let's see what he gets. All right, an observant, I'll say it. Ooh, and a hopeful Eidolon as well. And there's also the Gray Merchant. So this is interesting.
Yeah.
We talked about this, and now he's kind of forced to make a decision. Does Reid want to be blue-black, or does he want to be white-blue?
Yeah, it's rough for him right now because
it really is.
It's not like there's a clear keepsake Gorgon or Foundlings leader.
Right.
Gray Merchant is better than Hopeful Eidolon, but we both agreed it's like he's seeing more white than black.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, I think that if I'm in Reid's seat, I would actually lean back towards the Eidolon because he still has those double Miletus astronomers, and
that's what his deck is trying to
like
do.
if he picks the Gray Merchant, like he's not really doing anything with those.
Yeah,
he took it. All right. I felt like he wanted to be black this whole time.
It seems like he's willed himself into blue-black instead of blue-white. I mean,
Yeah.
if I was in Reid's seat in this draft, I'd be blue-white. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
But blue-black is a fine archetype, and we'll have to see what Reid's going to do.
All right. So at first, I thought he was just going to get the daggers.
He gets
here.
rewarded here.
He does get rewarded here with Shipwreck Singer.
Shipwreck Singer is excellent.
Yeah, it's just funny because he got past the Wingsteed Rider, but then there was a Voyage's End right behind it. But now this is an interesting question: Shipwreck Singer or Voyage's End?
Oh, just Shipwreck Singer.
Okay.
I mean, if he's definitely blue-black, if it's not a question of being blue and then seeing white or black, Shipwreck Singer is considerably better than Voyager's End.
Okay.
Shipwreck Singer it's hard to get premium 2-drops for control decks because you don't want to play bad 2-drops. And Shipwreck Singer is an amazingly powerful card that you can put into play on the second turn.
That's right. So he does, in fact, slam that Shipwreck Singer and really does solidify himself as being that. And then he gets past another Wingsteed Rider.
It did seem like white was open.
It did.
And he didn't even take the Sun Guide. I can't even imagine how much white you could see in this draft if you had actually, cut it off a little more.
Yeah, I mean, it's tempting to go down this path, and you don't want to go down it too far. But, I mean, look at this blue-white heroic deck that he's being shipped here. Double Wingsteed Rider now. There's an Ordeal in there, too.
Yeah. And I imagine he's going to take the Ordeal because he's got the Miletus Astronomers, and it's still not a bad card in a blue-black deck. It draws cards. Obviously, the Wingsteed Rider is a much more exciting card.
For sure. But he does, in fact, take it. And Reid Duke has decided on his plan, and he's going with it. So let's see how the rest of the black is flowing. I mean, I think that the thing that would make me nervous is what you mentioned before, Ben.
How much white seems to be going around.
Yeah, and but also that he saw, no asphyxiates. Not even that Servant didn't come back. There just wasn't much black going around the table.
No, I'm not sure. I'm not sure honestly why he leaned this direction. It must be personal preference. But now that he's there, he's certainly going to draft blue black with that Gray Merchant, with that Shipwreck Singer.
And now he's stuck taking a Fleshmat Steed here.
Yeah, I mean, unless he thinks he might splash white, but I mean, I don't think that makes a lot of sense.
Okay, it does look like he's leaning in that direction too. I mean, he figures.
I mean, I don't hate that pick because you're missing out on a Fleshmat Steed, which you're not concerned about, especially when you already have multiple 2-drops, which he does.
Yeah.
But, I mean, also, splashing is kind of dangerous in this format.
Yeah.
There's not great fixing. It's not really the kind of format where you splash a lot in draft.
That's right. Now, it looks like he's going to pick up a Scourge Mark here, fairly unexciting. Not too bad with the Miletus Astronomers. You can get some velocity going, but it's not great.
No, it's not a great card, but he definitely has to take it. I mean, if he's going to play double Astronomer as his 2-drops. And the nice thing about Astronomer in the blue-black deck instead of the blue-white deck is a 1/3 body is more appealing because it blocks better than it attacks.
Yeah.
So I'm fairly certain he's going to at least play them, which means he's going to want to pick up some things like Scourge Mark where he can.
Right. There's an Omen Speaker and a Boon of Erebos. A gain save potentially for sideboard. I like Omen Speaker here.
Yeah, I mean, you don't want to have to play bad 2-drops, and right now he's got 3 good ones, I think. Shipwreck Singer and the 2 Astronomer.
Right.
So, I mean, you can still take an Omen Speaker. Fine card, nothing special.
Right.
It means you don't have to play a Flashmat Steed, potentially.
He can try to set up his Astronomers with his Omen Speaker.
Yeah, but I mean, what is interesting is he doesn't have much black, and he's definitely black, but he has a Gray Merchant as one of his black cards.
This is an interesting one. I actually like Scholar here. If he is going to dip into white, Scholar's like a fantastic pickup. It depends on if he gets actual fixing or not. You know, Burnished Heart's also possible, but it looks like Reid pulls like Scholar here too.
Oh yeah, I agree.
Card is super powerful.
If you're going to splash white, Scholar's an excellent splash card because what you're looking for is to have out a bunch of swamps and only 1 plains. Just cast it and start draining.
That's right. Also blocks reasonably well.
Yeah, no, I like that. I don't like splashing, but if I'm going to splash because I need to or something, I'll happily splash that Scholar.
Yeah, right now, Reid doesn't have any real fixing, so he's going to take another white card here. So things are starting to get a little murky for Reid.
Yeah, it looks like he's putting together an Esper control deck.
It does feel like that, yeah. And in which case that Burnished Heart would come in handy. A clunky card, but it becomes necessary evil. Wow.
Oh, man.
Man, Observant Alseid still in the pack.
That's one of the premium white commons.
He just wheeled that?
Yeah. One of the premium white commons for the blue-white heroic deck.
It is, and Reid has to just shrug and take Fate Foretold here, which will make the cut in his deck most likely, but all right.
Triton Fortune Hunter.
Fairly late.
Yeah. And, I mean, still good for Reid's deck. Also a premium common for the heroic deck.
It is. This has been interesting.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what everyone else at this table is drafting.
I don't know either, but I'm pretty sure it's not white. Fellhide Minotaur for Reid as he enters the final stages of Pack 2. Now, this is going to be interesting when he picks up his deck and thumbs through it, because I'm curious to see where he puts what. I mean, he's got like white cards in there. He's got a gold, white, black card, and he didn't really pick up too much blue out of this pack either. You know, Omen Speaker, Fortune Hunter, a few things here and there, but. This pack, I have to say, it didn't go great for Reid, right? Like, there was a lot of really good cards, and he picked up a couple of things, but, like, black does not seem open.
No, black doesn't seem open at this table. I mean, he got Gray Merchant and Shipwreck Singer, but that was pick 1 and pick 2.
Yes.
And then he didn't see anything late. He didn't see any Disciple of Phoenixes, any Returned Phalnixes, any Pharika's Cures, Lash of the Whip.
Yeah.
He really didn't see very many of the staple black commons. From Theros.
The Fleshmat Steed didn't come back. So Reid's still looking through his list here, and unfortunately, I mean, I think his black is just kind of bad at this point, right? I mean, you look at his black cards, Gray Merchant, obviously very good, but it needs help.
Yeah, Shipwreck Singer's very good.
Shipwreck Singer's fantastic, but that's a blue-black card. Otherwise, he's got like Fellhide Minotaur, Eye Gouge, Scourge Mark, Weight of the Underworld. Like, these are just not attractive cards.
No.
Like, it almost feels like he is blue-white, begrudgingly so. Like.
Yeah, I mean, he is blue-black, but his black isn't very good.
Yeah. Okay.
That's just reality.
So let's see if he can improve that situation. Ochoa casually drinks half of a coffee in one sip.
There was this dessert buffet in Japan where Ochoa he texted us a picture, and it was a giant plate of dessert food, and we were like, oh my God, how could anyone eat that,
Yeah.
And then 3 more pictures, like it just came in, one after another after another. Apparently, they have an hour and 15-minute time limit there, and he was able to fill 4 giant plates of dessert in that period.
The man is a machine.
He definitely has some skills.
Rashad's given us a look around the room here. You see Rusty Kubis, he's one of our video technicians. He's actually filming David Ochoa draft, and you see BDM behind Calcano. He's filming Calcano draft. We are going to be bringing you those drafts.
Oh, that's
as
awesome.
Well. Yeah, so we love watching people draft.
Yeah.
And people
so
at home
excited.
love it too, so I'm super stoked. And we've got Ben Stark in the booth. Like, we're watching drafts.
I could not imagine a better way to spend a Sunday. I get to sit here and watch a bunch of pros draft.
Yeah, it's fantastic. All right, so, I will say, though, that Reid Duke's deck does have a significant amount of playables at this point. He needs to kind of fill in the corners here, and he'll have a reasonable deck.
Yeah.
If this pack goes really well, he could have a very good deck still.
Yeah, it's not a bad deck.
Right.
He's been in a pretty decent seat. I mean, there was a lot of good white cards, a lot of good blue cards, a lot of good black cards. Well, not a ton of good black cards, but a few good black cards up and around him.
I just kind of want to see those astronomers go off. Like, I've never really had a deck that was great for an astronomer.
Yeah, I feel like when it comes to something like astronomer, a lot of people see the upside and not the downside.
Yeah.
Obviously, if you're chaining enchantment into enchantment on it, that's really strong. But it's not that hard to whiff, even if you have 7, 8 enchantments.
It's true.
So I think that it's a bit more of a gamble, and it's better to just go with the more solid value cards like Retraction Helix.
Also, I mean, it's not the most attractive thing to put bestow creatures on. Like, it doesn't have evasion. It doesn't get bigger. You know, you're kind of, you know, you made like a 2/5 or whatever. It's fine, but
right.
You're not exactly killing your opponent.
Another Shipwreck Singer.
Another Shipwreck Singer. He's found a Reid the Bones. What's his rare? Did we get back there yet?
Artisan of Forms.
Artisan of Forms. Oh, right in the front. Sorry.
I mean, Artisan of Forms is okay. I'm fairly sure this is an easy Shipwreck Singer for him.
Yeah, it looks like it.
When you're playing blue-black in this format, you're just like praying to open Shipwreck Singer.
Yep.
Because it's like I said, Control always has that problem of you don't want to play bad 2-drops because you're looking to make the games go long, but you want to do something on turn 2 because you want to add value to your board and you don't want to fall too far behind. So Shipwreck Singer is like a dream come true for blue-black.
Yeah, it kind of warps the board in your favor. Now there's a Reid the Bones there that Reid would love to get back, but it doesn't feel like it's going to come back based on what we've seen.
No, I would bet against that tabling.
All right. This is where hope is still alive. There's a Voyage's End for Reid.
Wow. Sphinx.
Prognostic Sphinx. Fantastic.
Yeah.
He's going to have to pass a Grip Tide in a Voyage's End, but he could not be happier to do
so.
I mean,
whereas it's unclear whether he was really seeing better, white than black and whatnot. It is clear he's seeing blue.
Yes.
He's just in a blue seat.
He's been in blue since the beginning, and it has not let him down. So picks up a sweet rare here with Prognostic Sphinx.
Prognostic Sphinx is one of the best rares in the set. It's hard to kill because they can just discard a card to give it hexproof. It's costed very reasonably at 5 mana.
Yeah.
You don't lose with it in your hand like some of the 7 mana rares.
Right. And if you've ever been on the bad end of a Prognostic Sphinx, once they attack you once and do that Scry 3, you're just like, great.
Yeah.
This is not going to end well for me.
No, they're pretty much assured to draw a spell every turn for the rest of the game.
Wow, and then just a bunch of nothing here for Reid. I mean, he can pick up a sideboard Dark Betrayal or a Splash Scholar or Hopeful Eidolon.
Right.
But there's not, I mean, he went from picking up one of his dream cards in second pick to third pick, kind of just nothing.
Right, well, he's really needing there to be blue cards in these packs because, as we've been noting, it doesn't really seem like he's seeing black cards.
And there's no blue cards in this pack at all, just 0.
Yeah, and the ship has kind of sailed on him being able to play white. So now he's kind of got to be either fortunate that a pack opens really deep with black or that there's just blue.
Okay.
But blue is pretty deep, and there is a lot of good blue cards in Theros.
Yeah.
So hopefully he can look at Voyage's End or Grip Tide, Nimbus Naiad.
All right, let's see what he picks up. Whoa!
Speaking of blue cards.
Master of Waves for the guy who's hardcore drafting blue. I mean, this also has a couple of really nice black cards.
Yeah, and Grey Merchant, one of the premier black cards. So that it's surprising to see that there fourth.
It is.
But does Reid have enough black for Grey Merchant, or does he have more blue to play the Master?
Yeah, I mean, you got to figure Master of Waves is pretty easy picker, I'd think. Sip of Hemlock also would go in Reid's deck just fine.
Yeah.
All right, so kind of frenetic picks here, but some really nice stuff for Reid.
Now he's actually starting to see a little black towards the end of this draft.
All right, and he has 2 good options with Baleful Eidolon and Lash of the Whip. I like the Eidolon a lot.
Yeah, I like the Eidolon for sure. With the double Astronomer, it's cheaper.
Baleful Eidolon's great.
Yeah. Baleful Eidolon, definitely what he's looking for here. Lash of the Whip is fine. He'd probably play it, but it doesn't add really any synergy. It doesn't really offer him much.
All right. So things coming together for Reid here.
Yeah,
he can sort of kiss that white splash goodbye and just get down to business with blue-black.
Yeah, this has been a good pack for Reid.
Oh, there's something at the back. What is that? It's a Cavern Lampad.
It's not exciting, but, you know,
not.
If you're going to have to pick up a moderate playable, it might as well be an enchantment when you're on the double Astronomer plan.
True. Yeah, I've seen Cavern Lampad be a serviceable finisher against the right deck, but it's it's not a premium card by any stretch.
No.
Well, that's interesting. Nothing else in the pack but a Traveler's Amulet for Reid here. And, you know, he does still have those white cards looming. You got to figure with 2 Shipwreck Singers, he's pretty loath to try to splash anything.
Yeah.
But
I think he's not looking to splash. He might take the Amulet just in case because there's nothing really here. So if he plays against another deck looking to stalemate the board, then maybe he can bring in that Scholar or something. But I can't imagine he's going to build his deck 3 colors.
Yeah, he's got Triad of Fates as well.
Yeah. I think Triad's a card that looks, that's a nice pickup.
Yeah.
I think Triad's a card that looks a little bit better than it is. I mean, it's useful, but it's kind of slow.
It's very slow.
Especially off the splash, so you finally hit that plains, and you slap down your 3/3, and then a turn later you tap to put a counter on something, effectively doing nothing.
Yep.
You know,
it is very slow. You can do some fun stuff with it, but yeah, it takes a long time to get going.
Yeah, I mean, if I have another amulet.
Another amulet.
Maybe the splash becomes real.
It might, yeah. He's looking at Mnemonic Wall, but I don't think he actually has that many targets for a Mnemonic Wall. So there we go. Now he actually has the option to splash legitimately. And I still think I like your plan, Ben, of just of making a blue-black list and then just keeping the splash option open as opposed to main decking it.
I think he'll only splash if he needs to here. I don't think you want to.
Yeah.
I haven't really been counting his playables.
I haven't either.
It seems like he has enough playables.
It feels like it.
Wow.
Wow. Maybe he does. I mean, double Scholar is so tempting in a deck like this.
And with double Amulet, he can throw 1 plains in there and have 3 sources for double Scholar and a Triad.
Yeah, this deck build's going to be interesting for Reid Duke for sure. He, you know, if he's just got a super solid blue-white list and or blue-black list and he feels good with it, I don't think he really needs to dip over. But if there's any sketchy includes that he's just like, I really don't want to play this, I think we'll see him play white as well.
Yeah, I think it just comes down to number of playables because he doesn't need the Scholars as far as finishers go.
Right.
He's got the I can't say that card. Tromacratus. I cannot pronounce that card. Yeah. And he's also got the Precinct Chimera and the Prognostic Sphinx. So he can definitely close out a game.
Yes.
And even Shipwreck Singer, as a 2-drop, it doesn't close out the game on turn 2. But if it's alive later in the game when you have a lot of mana, make that attack, make that attack, make that attack, -1/-1 to all of them, block, 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 block.
Play hungry hippos with your opponent's creatures.
Yeah.
All right, so real quick here, Ben. Thoughts on the deck overall? If you're sitting in Reid's seat, 1 to 10, and what would your expected record be on average with a deck like this?
It's hard to say because it's always in comparison to the other decks.
Yes.
I know there was a lot of Wingsteed Riders, a lot of Grip Tides and Voyages Ends going around. I saw a Lightning Strike. So I feel like there's a really high card quality in this draft. So I feel like Reid has a pretty good deck, but I feel like everyone else probably does too.
Okay.
And if I'm in Reid's seat, I'm probably expecting a 2-1 because my deck is good, so I would be disappointed if I can't go 2-1 with it.
Okay, well, that was really awesome to get the chance to watch Reid Duke draft. We are going to be bringing you 3 more drafts here over the course of the day here at Grand Prix Philadelphia. It will be myself, Ben Stark, Brian David Marshall in the booth for the duration of our 3 drafts, and